What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Littleroot Lessons, episode 311. Amber is the color of my energy, and I'm joined by the hardest working producer in Pokemon podcasting, Carl. How's it going, buddy?
It is going. We got EUIC in the books earlier this afternoon as of recording. I got to watch most of day 2, and I got to watch at least game 1 of Masters Finals before my headphones died.
Yeah, I was not able to watch the finals live. Amanda and I were at the house today. We did some furniture shopping, got a nice lunch. Folks, furniture is expensive.
Yes, it is.
It is very expensive.
Take it from a current homeowner. It is.
Yeah. One of the sad things that really sucks is there was this store that because Amanda really she doesn't want any like traditional, like she, of course, in her office she's gonna have like an office chair, but outside of that she doesn't want other like modes of traditional seating in her office. She just wants like massive beanbag chairs. And so there was a store near the furniture store that we're going to that was like specific, like we sell like these like big nice beanbag chairs.
Mm-hmm.
In all different styles, and we go there and they don't have a single one of the styles in store for her to try that she wanted to try.
Oh, of course.
So it was like, well, but yeah.
I hate to say this, but like you can buy the Big Joe chairs at Walmart. Have you seen those before?
I haven't seen those. We might go like the big thing is like
so they are effectively a backed beanbag chair.
Okay.
That's all they are. They're just a backed beanbag chair.
I might be swinging by Walmart tomorrow.
They don't have them because it's an older brand, but sometimes they'll have them. Right now, the small versions are popular with like toddlers and whatnot. I thought about getting a bluey themed one for Amelia to sit on in the living room when she doesn't want to sit in one of her other chairs she has.
Okay.
But Big Joe, I remember that brand very vividly because I always wanted one growing up because I didn't have seating in my room. There was either you sit on the bed or you sit on the floor. And
yeah,
so,
same with me.
Like I wanted like a beanbag chair or something so I didn't have to sit on the floor growing up.
Yeah.
But we could never afford one. So, but
yeah,
other than that, it was a fun event.
Yeah. No, I
we
will
got
say
some stuff
that
to talk about.
Some of our predictions went pretty well. Others, not so much.
We also have drama and whatnot to talk about because there's an apparent flaw in the system when the events get too large for VGC. But we'll get to that
which was something that was listed. Do you want to just dive into like what that exactly is?
Okay, yeah, we could do that instead.
Yeah.
I want to do it via Arcanine's site because that's the best way to describe what happened. Because you could literally see the pairings, and you could see what happened and what was going on.
Yeah. Now, first of all, this was one of the largest events. I think, if not the largest event ever.
I think this was the largest event. It is officially the largest VGC event.
1,455 teams.
Yeah, it's like 1,450 something players.
Yep.
Which is nuts for a venue of any size. Not to mention, it was also on path, I think, to be one of the largest TCG events of all time with like almost 4,000 players, or just over 4,000
in a moment.
It was like 3980 or 4020 or something like that. It was either right over 4,000 or right before 4,000.
TCG 4,011 Masters, 529 Seniors, 362 Juniors.
Yeah.
So yeah, TCG altogether almost 5,000 players.
Yep. All right. So I have up here RK9, so you can kind of see. We can go talk about as we go down. So for those that may or may not be in the loop, the current system is you play Swiss rounds day 1, Swiss rounds day 2 into asymmetrical top 16 cut. What that means is anybody with the same record up to 16th place will make the top cut. In the unfortunate circumstances that we had here, we ended up with 17 players at that would normally make the top cut here. We have Giuseppe and Shohei, Paul and David, Frederick, Nicholas, Ko, Zach, Yavar, Eric Rios, Alex Gomez Berna, Sid Badin, Francisco Piopero, Yuto Kimura, Andrea Pagano, Roberto Parente, and then Luca Paz.
Yep.
The way this worked out, if I remember correctly, Shohei missed out.
It was no, Shohei was the 16th seed. It was
Shohei was the
Yuto
16th.
Kimura.
Was it Yuto then?
Yuto.
It was one of the Japanese players.
Yes.
It was okay. So I had a flip flop. So Shohei made it in by 0.07 resistance.
Yep.
What that means is literally less than probably just a game loss or win somewhere flips this to Yuto over Shohei. It was literally that close. It's an unfortunate system was set up with the way the system currently is. Back when we were used to doing X top 32 and playing one less Swiss round, they would have made it, but there also would have been maybe, I believe it would have been X and 3, or
yeah, it would have been
X and 2 the round before. So all of these 10 and 3s would have been in. So it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27. 27 players at that point, which that just would have meant one extra round of top cut. But then you don't have the situation we're currently in, where it's an X and 2 that would have normally made it is sitting on the outside. Which added IC, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, there is a massive difference. I mean, in most tournaments it's a difference, but especially in IC as well, where it's not winning the event gets you into your Worlds invite. It's only top 4ing the event.
Yeah.
You don't have to win the event. You just got to get into the dance and dance pretty far along
just try
the
to
way.
get to the semifinals. That's all you got to get to, which had Yuto probably could have done that. Yuto did everything they were supposed to do to get to this point. And it just so happened that their resistance was just one game worse than it needed to be. Will they address this in the future? Probably not. I don't know if it would be ever a situation that comes up again. Maybe if events keep staying, like ICs like this keep staying this large, I could see it being a problem. But
I could see them maybe for a regional sticking to the current system they have, because I know like one of the things was like you go back 2-3 years ago when it was just still like a strict top 8, you would have the people who would bubble out of top 8, which the difference between I'll say that at least like the difference between outside of, again, the chance to move up further, the difference between top 16 and top 32 outside of like the monetary isn't that much points wise, while the difference, especially at like the regional level, difference between top 16 and top 8 is absolutely massive. And so we've had a lot of events where it would be like similar to when we're doing the 5 rounds of day 2 Swiss into the top 8. A lot of those people who bubbled, this current system allows them to get in, but on the end also keep it like a relatively manageable version of Top Cut. On the other side of it, yeah, when you have an event this big, you're going to get people to miss out. The fix I would suggest is make it the asymmetrical top 16 cut for your regional and special events, and the asymmetrical top 32 for these massive events such as the ICs. I think that is probably the update for the 26-27 season that makes the most sense, especially if these events continue on the IC level to be as big as they are. I mean, EUIC, I believe, has set the record for biggest event back-to-back years now, because you have not only just all of these European players who live on a continent that is a lot more connected and travel is just easier, but you have everyone else flying over. One of the day 1 talking points from the casters was the number of Japanese players, where it's like there's a handful of Japanese players where you might as well view them as European players this year because of the number of European events that they've all been going to. So it's just one of these things where they're going to have to tweak the system a little more to just make it make a little more sense, due to just the size of especially these European ICs.
I was going over looking for the two-phase structure in the rules because I wanted to see it for myself. Technically, when we say asymmetrical top 16, it's technically asymmetrical top 8 up to 16 spots is the definition that they call it here.
Yeah.
Asymmetrical with up to 16 spots is technically the specific thing. That's just to make sure we're getting the technical things out here, which they were in that spot, 13 rounds of Swiss, 8 day one, which they technically played 9 day one, but whatever.
Yep.
Because it's just a European thing. I don't know why they do it. I don't see a reasoning to it. It's just something that the EU organizer has been doing consistently since we swapped to this structure. They just always play round 9 on day 1. There's no benefit to it. I don't think there is. Like, there's no benefit. There's no changes. The only thing I think it could be a benefit to is the people who lose round 9 don't have to really show up if they don't want to, I guess. Which, you're playing for CP at that point. You're going to show up still. You're going to keep playing because a 9 and a 10 and 3 still gets you more CP than just
gets you more packs.
Like the packs or whatever. It's the CP. Like a top 32 is much better than a top 256 or top whatever. Like, playing all your games out and when you make it to day 2 is so important. I don't see the reasoning why to throw the system out the window, and I honestly don't see why they are allowing them to get away with this every time when it's literally in the rules right here. I'm literally looking at it here. Like, I will pull it up, and it says Swiss phase 1, 8 rounds right here. It is 8. You need 16 points to make it to phase 2. I don't understand, like, why they have the need to do the next start this whole thing the next that.
Well, I think that's the reason why they're calling it phase 1, phase 2 to get around them making.
Oh, I know that's why, but
that's absolutely why they're doing it. I don't know
why don't they do it in A.
I have
no other region does this.
I really think it's solely just the way the events are produced. I can't think of. I wish I had information on why that was the case. Like, I knew about certain, like, told from people who were on the American judge scene, or like working the tournaments, that there were certain things that it was like stuff like the A to Zen corner and stuff. Like, that's been stuff, like, there's been people in the production background that have been on the American side or North American side, just like working on what can we do to fill in this filler time better, and also like just make a better production for the viewers at home. I have no insight on what they're doing in Europe, and I really just think it's just simply just a tournament, like a production side and a tournament like organizer side. Like,
it's 100% all on production, right?
Yeah.
Which that's what I'm trying to figure out. There's no benefit to anyone to do round 9 on day 1. There's no benefit to production because all that does is make them stay later.
Yep.
They've already been casting events since whatever in the morning, and now you're making them stay a whole extra round to maybe not have to come in as early tomorrow. And that's not an actual trade-off. That's just you're moving an hour from, you're making them stay out an hour later to where they only have to come in maybe at 30 minutes early, 30 minutes late. Like, that's not a trade-off. You're losing time still. And it's just there's something weird with the way the Europeans are running these events because Oceania doesn't do it, as far as I'm aware.
No.
I know the Latin American events don't do it.
American
I
ones
know
don't.
NA doesn't. So there's I don't know if it's just like we're gonna hang out because we have to be here for TCG anyway.
Honestly, it could simply just be that as well. It's, hey, you guys are still kind of like, quote unquote, as a whole, on the clock. Let's run another one. I mean,
I don't see that being enough of a reason to keep the VGC people live. I don't see that enough of it. TCG was still going after VGC round 9 ended still.
I know, it's...
Like, they weren't done
so
playing
long.
TCG phase 1 until it was like almost 10, 11 o'clock at night in London. Like,
yeah,
come on.
And it's not popular with the players. Zach Weed was messaging, he's like, yep, gotta go play round 9 now instead of getting dinner with my friends. I'm like, oh, the curse of being talented. But yeah, like that
that's
does
the
suck.
other thing. It's just like you're effectively holding players hostage for an extra hour longer to do no benefit. There's no benefit to it. I do not see a world where it's a good decision to do this. The only way it gets changed is if players actually speak up about it. I know multiple NA players were like, well, why are we doing this? Why is this a thing? No other no other event we've ever been to in the US does this. Why are we doing this? Like, you've held us captive for 9 hours. You're gonna hold us captive for one more, I guess. Like, they got rid of lunch breaks. There's no lunch break anymore.
Nope. To try to get the events done quicker.
Yeah, to try to get the events done quicker. Like, that's the whole point. That's why they split it the way they split it, so they could not have to do lunch breaks, so the events finish faster. And instead, you're holding players hostage longer because you want to play phase 2, one round of phase 2 at the end and just kill everybody's vibe. I just do not understand it.
Yeah.
What was the other? There was something else crazy that happened.
I mean, like we'll talk about.
It was bathrooms.
Yeah, so I didn't hear the bathroom
stuff. You could only go one direction.
Oh, that's bad.
You could only go one way around the venue. You couldn't go the other way, just with how many people are in there, and there's no other entrances or exits. So it's literally you have to go all the way back around to get to the door to go out to the bathroom this year. Whereas last year, apparently they had the side doors open as well, so flow would go this way as well as in and around. And for some, I don't know if it was a security thing or what, but they did not have those side doors open this year. So I heard many people complaining that they could not get around the venue because
I think
you had to effectively make a big old lap just to get back to the door.
And I think this goes to something that we've mentioned on the pod a few times. Actually, Zach was someone I've talked about this with recently. Is it's getting to the point where, like, the Excel Center in where they host EUIC in London, it's a massive, massive venue. You aren't getting many larger venues than that. It's just that TPCI likes having pretty much all of their events
in one
like what's the word I'm looking for? A convention space. Because there's a lot of other convention centers that hypothetically could host these regionals if you just put them in separate halls. And they did have to do this more so with all of the extra stuff they were doing at Worlds last year. But in general, they want everything all in the same place. These events are getting to the point where if you're having space issues in London at that venue, you gotta just bite the bullet and you gotta keep TCG in one hall and
splitting it up into different halls and whatnot.
It doesn't mean you have to do it on different days.
No,
you could have the halls right next to each other.
The same weekend. That's still fine.
Yeah,
but you're just gonna have to split it up into more halls. You're going to have to get more space. You can't you can't get by with what you have been doing the last 3 or 4 years. The competitive scene has exploded effectively.
Yeah, and again, that's something that maybe we're looking at. Hopefully, within next year or the year after. A lot of these events, that's the other thing. A lot of these venues are booked well into advance. The reason
years.
why
We're talking like
yeah.
2 to 3 years in advance.
The reason why they like leaked that, well, not leaked, like they announced back in after Worlds 2024 that they were like, oh, let's just say 2026 in San Francisco, is because the San Francisco location for 26 was already leaked sometime in like 2023.
Yeah,
like,
it was a, oh, I got to look at the calendar, I saw this and this.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it's like this convention center, like it just had like Pokemon on the calendar, and like the person like called like the convention center's like, hey, is this real? And they were like, and then took it off. And it was like, oh, so it's happening here.
Confirmed it's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime that stuff happens, it's like, oh, that just confirmed it for me. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's like other stuff, like back when they announced that they were having Worlds in Hawaii, the day after that very terrible like was like earthquake and volcano, like natural disaster event that occurred in Hawaii. It was like natural disaster occurs. The next day they're like, oh, we're bringing more tourism to Hawaii, who currently cannot handle this amount of tourism.
Yeah.
And it was partially like, oh,
yeah.
we have to move it. It's like, oh, but all that stuff's locked in. You aren't moving it. And so who knows what's going to happen with these changes? Maybe they have options in these spaces that have already been rented out for the events for the 26-27 season and beyond to get some extra space, like opt into a second hall.
Maybe.
The other side of it,
like I said, that kind of stuff being booked so far in advance that the convention centers kind of plan that stuff around that anyway. So it's like it might be touchy to try and amend it now. Like when I went to EUIC this past year in New Orleans, there was a teacher convention literally right next door to us. Like they could not move. We could not expand anymore. They literally had us butted up right next to the teachers convention right there, right next to us. So it's like like everybody plans this stuff out years in advance, or at least they should be. And so it may not be something we don't see changes for until maybe 2029 once they've actually started to recognize that, oh, attendance has gone just way up and now we need to expand to bigger venues or at least rent more halls.
So those are like their two little controversies. Let's talk about
some event got kicked out. I remember that one too. There was a grassroots event that got kicked out of the venue.
Yeah, was it like, I know there was a
I think it was for TCG. It was something TCG related.
I know there was like a shiny hunting event.
No, there was a TCG format or something got kicked. They were trying to do a pickup event and they got kicked out, I think. I don't remember. I could probably go look it up, but I really don't want to. We got other stuff to talk about. But I do know that there was someone trying to do a pickup grassroots event thing and they got kicked off the site.
Yeah.
They ended up playing in the parking lot. Like legitimately ended up playing in the parking lot.
Yeah, let's look at some teams. And again, you're going to see some of the teams that we talked about last week, both positive and negative.
You're going to see all the teams we talked about last week because everything's on here. Congrats to Paul Chua for 2-time IC champion.
So specifically EUIC, bookending or hopefully bookending, the Scarlet and Violet era.
That'd be nice.
In EUIC. If we're playing 2027 UIC on Scarlet and Violet, something terrible happened, folks.
Yeah, something happened to Champions, and we're in the bad timeline.
Champions, Gen 10, everything. Like, they Toy Story 2'd that.
We also got revenge for the all Italian NAIC last time. Yep. We now have the all NA EUIC finals with Zach coming in second, playing Psy-Spam, not the version we talked about in specific, but Psy-Spam in general. And then Francisco Pio Pero in third, playing a very unique take with Gouging Fire, Pow Knight, and this Thunderous, which I thought was really, really cool. I really enjoyed watching that. And then fourth place, Roberto Parente, playing the size spam team that we thought was going to probably not do as well because people kind of figured it out. Which this is a situation of looking at like the teams, like, oh, you guys got it wrong. These teams were still good. This is where it ends up mattering. Ursaluna still had an insane percentage. Incineroar, insane. You want to know where Iron Crown's at?
Iron Crown, yeah. Like I will say this,
it barely moved.
The rain, I will say, with right next to it, with the Peli rain, not our best work, but you know, we thought Sun was going to do better. A specific player who did he even bring Sun? We didn't even see. We didn't even see Marco on stream.
We didn't see Marco on stream. He did bring Sun.
Oh yeah, he brought the exact team that we thought he was.
He literally
going to
brought
bring.
the exact team.
Yeah, I will apologize to Marco. I double boomed him. I said that he is the current active GOAT because Wolfe is effectively retired. Well, Wolfe made a shadow drop playing at EUIC that no one even expected.
Nope.
And then, what was it? You texted me, he's like, Marco's 4-2. I'm like, yeah, Marco's 4-2. Wolfe's here. I curse him. Buddy, I'm sorry.
You put the bad juju on Marco.
I was like, this kid's gonna win. It's fourth IC. No, I didn't. I did him wrong. But let's talk about the IC champion, Paul Chua. One of the, if not the best balanced player on the planet.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably, I would say arguably the best balanced player. That is what they're known for. They are known for playing the balance archetype very well. They make very good decisions. They make good choices all the time. They know how to navigate these situations, even in mirrors. Very, very good at navigating those situations. Pretty much has the contingency for every team under the book while playing balance. It's just one of those amazing things that Paul's very good at doing. This is literally just the textbook balance team. Like you could flip pages and pages of teams, find the 6, and you'll flip again and you'll find another 6 very, very similar to it. And it's one's Paul Chua, one's probably 500, 600th place.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the thing where it's like with a team like this, it does come down. A lot of it is the skill expression on these balance teams is very high. Understanding positioning. Watching finals was really... Game 1 was very much like... Paul lost his Flutter Mane very, very, very early. And it looked like there were a lot of positions where it looked like Zach was like about to take it. Mm-hmm. And it was just Paul knowing, nope, I have literally just enough stuff where I can just pivot around like Rilla, Heartflame, and Urshifu, I believe it was, that he brought in game 1. And I can just get it in position. Yeah, and he's like, I can just get in position where I'm going to get like my terrain control and Rilla Ursh up against your Iron Crown, and I play high horsepower.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
Low-key, that was the big difference. I don't think I think if the Rillaboom didn't have high horsepower, that game ends up being in
no, Zach. I think
Zach wins that a lot more often than not.
Yeah, it would come down to like Woodhammer damage rolls on both ends, both the damage into the Iron Crown
the damage into the Iron Crown and the recoil you're taking, plus on top of like expanding force or Tachyon Cutter or whatever.
But yeah, the fact that it's like, okay, well, I have this move in high horsepower, which is a common move on Rillaboom as of the 2026 season. So it's not like it's that uncommon.
It's not, but you don't see the highest horsepower when there's like Lando on the team usually.
Yeah.
This version not playing that Landorus means that you are locked into playing the high horsepower on your Rillaboom pretty much every time.
And it works
or you're playing Stomping Tantrum on your Hearthflame.
Yeah. And then game 2 was... Yeah. And then game 2 was simply just Rilla, Urshi, Incin, Raging Bolt. I'm going to pivot, I'm going to Parting Shot, I'm going to... honestly, I think one of the best things he did in game 2 is talk about bring, again, literary lessons, bring some football terms. The simulated pressure of Fake Out where there were numerous turns where Paul would send up the fake out pressure with the Rillaboom to try to force the Indeedee in to just make Zach have a passive play, and on the Indeedee switch in, or trying to force an Indeedee switch in, the Rillaboom just comes out because it's not threatened, because Zach's not going to do anything because he's trying to play against the fake out pressure, and he goes into the Incineroar, which adds actual fake out pressure, or goes into a more offensive threat. The Raging Bolt's put into a spot that is just a lot more advantageous to it. Even just stuff like there was a move where he actually did swap the Rillaboom out for the Raging Bolt, and Zach locked in U-turn on his Landorus. The idea being fast U-turn into the U-turn into the Indeedee to be able to launch the expanding force. Well, now we can't make that play because if you set the terrain up, well, Rillaboom can just go back in and get the terrain war back, and you're again on the back foot again. So he was actually forced to bring Zach was forced to bring his Waterfoo into the match in front of a Raging Bolt. And the Pokemon that wants to be in front of the Raging Bolt in the Landorus is in the back again. And it was just using the 4 pieces to force positioning. Honestly, game 2 was just textbook, how to position, how to simulate pressure, and just how to take games there. Now this team here, I didn't know Zach was on this team, but when I saw it, it didn't surprise me. He is not the architect of this team. This is actually a team early on in the metagame that Justin Knox was on. So Justin and Zach being close friends, good team building together. I don't know when Zach hopped on this, but I know Justin said in his server that he did help when Zach said, I'm going to play this 6. Help with making updates to the team and using it. The idea here is in using the Landorus as really great ground type damage. Overall, as we've talked about with the Rillaboom, you kind of want a Landorus on your team, but you don't have a Landorus, you want other ground type damage to really make the matchups into the Incineroar, the Heart Flame, or the Raging Bolt a lot easier. So Banded Landorus does so much damage. I think this has been a forgotten Pokemon ever since we got Incineroar back.
What I was saying was we kind of didn't have this Landorus at all. We didn't really play with this much one at all, even before we had Incin back. It just doesn't do a whole lot in the Terra format, where it's cool, you can Terra Flying, Terra Blast, but then you lose all the fun stuff that makes you a ground type, and your ground type stabs weak lessen. It just doesn't work out the same way as the Lando Incarnate does, right? That's why we see so much. That's why we're seeing more of that Landorus rather than the 4-legged bear cat thing.
And honestly, we did see Kian Cyan, another one of our locals, good friends with Zach as well, ran this 6 with the Landorus Incarnate over that flex spot that's just, again, usually the Regidrago. Zach going with the Banded Landorus, you just have this really, really strong hyper offensive lead with Tornadus plus Landorus Therian in order to just really threaten, just kind of do you really can't call it a Discquake, but the Bleak Wind Earthquake, just really getting stuff there. The grass type switch-ins that you'd like to switch in on the Earthquakes are not safe because of the Bleak Wind Storms. And it's a Pokemon where if you get it, and it also gives you a little more utility. It's a damaging Pokemon that offers Intimidate support to make your team a little bulkier. You're running the Calm Mind set on the Iron Crown, so having that, you want to be a little bulky, and the Intimidate helping you be a little bulkier on your physical side as well just helps a lot. You have the double redirection with both Follow Me Indeedee and Follow Me on Heart Flame. Urshifu's Urshifu. Maybe I'm probably going to ask him this later. I think the taunt makes sense on the Urshifu.
Yeah.
To give it a move to click in front of Thunderclaps. But at least there were a handful of stream games. Again, actually game 1 of finals where if that was Aqua Jet with Zach's Urshifu being faster than Paul's. Like, there was a case where if he had Aqua Jet, he would have been able to go, and honestly, I think that's another case where I think he would have been able to win, or at least be in a better position to win his finals match. Because, like, I don't know, like there were a few times where it's like it felt like the taunt wasn't really doing work. But I've also played a lot of Taunt Urshifu, and it is a very, very good mon. And there were probably, for every time we saw on stream that maybe that could have been Aqua Jet, there were probably twice as many times where he just straight up won sets because he had the non-prankster taunt on the Urshifu.
Yeah.
Overall, really strong team. Amazing performance. It sucks to see our boy Wonder make 2 finals in his last 3 events and
not come away with a trophy. But hey, his world invite is locked up.
Yeah.
His world invite is locked up. He doesn't technically have to play anymore if he doesn't want to.
I mean, he was already at, like, I think in the 8 to 10 range on the points ladder. So, like, even if he finished top 8, he would have been
it's
fine.
Also still very early in the season.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no,
so
I think he's...
If he hadn't gotten it was going to be... He's going to probably finish in the top 10 easily.
Yeah. I will say this, though, before we move on, just... the childhood joy, like, just of watching Zach play. Game 3, this is of his top 8 match. This is a win or go home, like, single game gets you into Worlds match. He switches his Iron Crown in. It takes damage. It goes down to 67 HP, and you just see him on the little screen. He just sits there and just smiles. Like, the little, like, smirk. You can see the light in his eyes. Because he's not thinking of his next turns. He's just thinking, he's like, yeah, Gen Z memes. Keon on Twitter, actually, I'll see if I can I'll find you the clip and send it to you. We can, like, maybe, like, throw it in somewhere. Shout out Keon for doing this. Made, like, a little fan cam of Zach smiling when that happened. And it's, like, just, like, you would never guess that this is a win-in for your guaranteed Worlds invite. And he's just sitting there having the time of his life.
Which they made the same comment on broadcast, so... Yeah. I think it was during that exact same scenario, because I vividly remember hearing them make the same comment about it being on 67 HP and then giggling to themselves. So
yeah,
it didn't go unnoticed.
Stefan did say it will tell Zach that if he did win, he had to say Bazinga during his winners. We will hopefully be able to hear more from Zach. I know he told me...
We're going to try.
Yeah, I know, like, I think he said, like, this was going to be one of his last events going into Worlds. Like, I think he said, like, especially now. Especially now
that he's already got his invite locked up. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, because, like, school's kicking up, so hopefully we'll be able to find some time to talk with him. But if we can't, Zach, you're always going to make me so proud. I am... very, very proud of you. You're going to do well at Worlds. That's going to be the event where you make finals and take the trophy.
Yeah, finally.
Just keep on climbing the ladder. You couldn't do it in regional. You couldn't do it in IC. We're just going to do it at Worlds.
Just going to do it at Worlds. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to 3rd and 4th place. 2 Italians. They were trying real hard to have an all-Italian finals again. Francisco Piopero here finishing 3rd with the Gouging Fire, Tinglu, Pow Knight stuff that I mentioned, like, earlier on. It's like, this is something that you could probably sneak into a top 8 or top 4 with, because not everybody's prepared to handle this stuff. The clever thing is the Thundurus. This Eerie Impulse, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wild Bolt, Storm, Thundurus is the bane of all Raging Bolts in existence. It sits there and clicks Eerie Impulse in front of the Raging Bolt, and the Raging Bolt's just like, well, I can click Dragon Pulse into you and do minimal damage, and that's about all I got, because I can't sit here and click Calm Mind, because I'm going to effectively lose this race. And so this adjustment here, I think, is what puts this team over the top in terms of being able to keep up with balance, because the rest of this team hates Raging Bolt.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We saw like the Thunderous tech. I believe was it that like it was that like little invitational thing. I believe it was Shohei went and was using. It was like a balanced team with this Eerie Impulse Thunderous. So it was like we've seen it before, but it really didn't stick to the format. I honestly on this team, there's another example of this like quasi disquake between the Earthquake on the Tinglu and the Wild Bolt Storm on the Thunderous. You're still able to use the Pokemon offensively.
You're still able to do stuff with it. Yeah, like it's
always
very interesting.
Active.
Overall, I think I believe it was Francisco that ran into Zach, or was it the other? Or was it no? Francisco ran into Paul.
No, Francisco ran into Paul.
Yeah, so I think if Francisco ran into Zach, we probably would have seen Francisco versus Paul in the finals. Not saying anything bad about Zach as a player. I think this team just lines up better into Psy Spam.
The
instead of
Tinglu
versus balance.
The Tinglu
like
is
you're double dark. You have this Thunderous that's going to be able to just spam Wild Bolt Storm against like Zach's Torn plus Urshifu. Just like you have to like you're stuck playing the Landorus effectively to try and do something to this. Well, Landorus doesn't really do a whole lot into the face of a Dragonite, a Tinglu, and like the Chien-Pao. So it's just like, man, this doesn't feel great. So I do think this was just a bad matchup going into semis for Pio Pero, and sucks because I really wanted Gouging Fire to at least be in finals. I really wanted it to happen.
Yeah, it would have been cool. No, it was kind of like a quasi mirror to get into, or almost a mirror to get into that final spot, moving to our 4th place finisher, Roberto Parente. It was the which version of like this Iron Crown like team like was better. And for this weekend, it was Zach's with the Landorus over the Regidrago. There were a few moments in the game. It did go to 3 games.
It did.
However, it was the case where, like, once the Regidrago went down and out, or at least like the amount of damage was mitigated, whether it was from like the knockoff, not only depleting the HP pool for Dragon Energy, but also getting rid of the Life Orb, or if it just like wasn't able to properly switch in like in a safe spot.
Yeah,
the rest of the team kind of just fell.
It never had a safe moment to actually just get off a full powered Dragon Energy.
Yeah.
Except for in the game where Roberto was already winning, already ahead.
Yep.
Like this is part of the problem why I have with Regidrago. Regidrago always has felt like a win harder or win more Pokemon, because the situations where it's good are the situations where you're already probably really far ahead with it. And so whereas if you're in a even or in a down situation, Regidrago's Dragon Energy is probably not hitting for as much as it should be, and you end up probably losing that game anyway because you're stuck clicking Draco Meteor or clicking Earth Power.
Yeah. Who do we have next?
Balance, Nicholas Kahn. The only difference is there's a Landorus instead of a Fluttermane.
Yeah.
Which, I said, you drop the ground move. Well, I guess there's a Chien-Pao here too, but you drop the ground move because you have a ground type.
Yeah. And then one of the other differences between this team and Paul's team, again, you have the Chien-Pao with Icy Wind, Sucker Punch, and Ice School Crash. And since you were running that instead of the Heart Flame Ogerpon, your Incineroar has to be a Fire type as well as a Dark type, and not just a Dark type. Paul's Incineroar dropped the Flare Blitz for a second tech move in Taunt, while Nicholas's has to have that Flare Blitz to keep that Fire type damage. Another thing to note, while I don't have it for the full tournament, we do just see, at least on the top tables, a lot more of the Calm Mind Raging Bolt. It's almost felt like it's gone full circle, or it's a European event. Who can say?
It's a European event, because not all of them are lefties. They're just playing Calm Mind because they can play Calm Mind.
There's
Like this one. This is the one
booster.
we're used to seeing. This is the booster Calm Mind. We've been seeing this one a lot more, where it's you can do the immediate pressure, or if your opponent's just gonna double protect, you can just get a free Calm Mind. Sweet.
Yeah, so looking at just the item breakdown, Assault Vest was still the most common item on Raging Bolt by a wide margin at 42%. Booster Energy was number 2 at 21.75. Lefties right behind it with 20.26. So it was only a 1.5 point difference between the two. Which is...
Well, you know what's funny? None of the AV Raging Bolts are in the top cuts. So what does that tell you about AV?
Yeah, the AV had... I think it's because more people have been...
People for may be the most played. It does not mean it's the good one.
Yeah.
People will eventually figure it out, maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, this is David's version of balance. I can only talk so much about these balance teams before I sound like a broken record, because it's a lot of the same pieces. There's some other neat techs here because we have a Hearth Flame this time. We were playing Helping Hand, Shuka, and Sin, so that's kind of neat. Helping Hand Loki is kind of cool with the rest of this squad.
I think one of the other cool things is that you're also running the Sword Stance on the Heart Flame to make it even more of a threat compared to what we saw on Paul's team, which was just Follow Me. So
Paul's is Sword Stance too.
Paul's is Sword Stance. Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking of Zax.
Zax is Follow Me.
Yes. A lot of Heart Flame Ogre Pawns.
The balance ones, when you see Rillaboom, Urshi, Ensign, usually those are Sword Dance ones because they don't care about the redirection. They just want to hit you hard with a Grassy Glide or Ivy Cudgel. Now we get into some fun stuff. This one is a Nielsen special. This is 2/2/2 with Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Cresselia, Ursaluna, and then we have Ogerpon, Wellspring, and Incineroar to kind of just round out our two cores.
Yeah.
They navigated this team beautifully up until they ended up getting stomped. Which
against Paul.
It's Paul. Again, it's Paul. Paul is going to probably this team probably I feel like this team has a bad Raging Bolt matchup most of the time if the Raging Bolt player can position around this Ursaluna really, really well. And Paul was able to navigate it very, very easily. Whereas I believe Nielsen literally played balance on stream earlier, and beat it pretty handily. His only other losses were to Nicholas Kahn, which is the other balance in top, which was one of the other balance in top cuts, and then another top cut player in City Badane.
Yeah. Drawing City
got City round 2.
That is a tough round 2 draw.
And then had his other losses were round 13 to Nicholas, and then round 15 to Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably the most unique take we've seen from Dondozo Tatsugiri players here lately. Everyone had kind of shifted to the 2/2/2 style with the Galarian Weezing and the Fluttermane and all that jazz, which we'll talk about that here. Another version of Dozo here in a little bit, down in, I think it's 12. Yeah.
Yep.
But overall, the tech to go away from the Unaware to Oblivious has been a very big boon for Dondozo Giri in this particular format. Effectively being immune to Intimidate and immune to Fake Out means Incineroar, the one Pokemon that probably would give you the most grief all the time, isn't giving you any grief at all. Because they don't want to sit there and eat a Wave Crash while they try to Parting Shot you. That's the one thing they don't want to be doing. So it's a lot of just I want to bring this Incin because it's good into the Ursaluna and it's good into the Ogerpon. But if the Dondozo's there, this Incineroar is a liability and I don't know what to do with it. I also really like the addition of Cresselia. This could have been pretty much any Trick Room setter, I feel like, for the most part, but Cresselia specifically works great with the rest of this team. Being a levitate mon player next to your Ursaluna, so you can still Terra your Ursaluna or your Dondozo and not have to worry about Terraing your P2 to avoid the earthquake or whatever, is a big bonus. We're also playing the Swords Dance Ursaluna instead of the Headlong Rush, which that did come up against Paul. It was a very unfortunate situation where like Rillaboom's on like grassy terrain set up, Earthquake's doing less damage, Facade not going to pick up the KO all the time because you've been intimidated, so on and so forth. So that ended up mattering in the long run. It was just never a safe situation for Frederick to get a Swords Dance off and still put pressure on Paul. But overall, this is the Nielsen brothers are very, very good at what they do, and they always have the weird sauce, and I love it.
Yep. Going on to our 8th place team. This is again a similar team to what we kind of were really expecting. Actually, this is the exact 6 that won EUIC.
The last. I'm about to say this is the exact 6. Yeah.
And again, time's a flat circle. Going with this P2 Ursaluna balance. A lot of the parts on this team are very standard. We know how strong it is. Again, with this sort of team, you're seeing the Flutter Mane, this being a booster energy, offensive Flutter Mane, 3 attacks and protect.
It's gonna
instead
two
of
attacks protect. Two attacks
protect. That's a substitute.
As a substitute, yes. Yeah. But it's still gonna try and punch you. It still wants to punch you. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to explain about this one. We know what the 6 does. We're gonna see it again here in a little bit. It's just a situation of there's a lot of this team floating around. Like I said, Ursaluna had probably had the best going from day 1 to day 2 percentage. Like, you may not have seen it as much as you thought you were going to see it at the top tables, but it's still translated really, really well. It is still a very strong contender for probably best Pokemon in the format.
Yeah, or at least like one of the best non-splashable Pokemon.
You gotta respect this thing at this point. Like, you have to have a plan. You can't just go like, "Oh, I don't need a plan for Ursaluna." No, you need a plan for Ursaluna. Okay. 9th place, balance.
Using the correct water boosting item, Giuseppe, love it. That's my takeaway here.
Well, guess what? Now we got the wrong boosting item.
Yeah, and then see, Alex, this is why you came in 10th and not 9th. that exactly right there.
I believe these are actually almost exactly the same. Yes, they pretty much are. The only difference is it's a different item.
Yeah, the literal only difference is Splash Plate and Mystic Water. And yes, that's the difference between a 9th place finish and a 10th place finish.
You heard it here first, folks.
This is proof. I'm just like, I latch onto a bit 3 years ago or whatever it was, at two-ish years ago, and the fruits of my endeavors are finally paying off. Let's go to again another balanced, but at least a pretty interesting one. Ivar.
I wouldn't call this is just more Pow Knight. This is more Pow Knight than it is balance.
Yeah.
We got some supporty elements in like the Amoonguss and the Ogerpon, but that's because we have this Heatran sitting next to us. Heatran had a weekend, man. I love Heatran to death. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. I am very glad to see it do well. Anytime I see it, I'm very, very happy. Heatran Raid Boss is still in full effect, whether you're doing the Magma Storm trapping stuff or if you're doing the Body Press Iron Defense nonsense. There's a lot of ways to play Heatran right now, and it's great.
Yeah, and also, again, like seeing another booster energy Raging Bolt, but this one going with a more offensive 3 attacks is also really great.
Yeah, we had to have speed control, otherwise we just get outsped all the time.
Yeah.
So we had to play it somewhere, and it's just Electro Web. It's just the easier one to play. It feels splashable. Next up is
Andre
the other Pagano.
the more successful Apagano at VGC. Now all I have to do is get on stream, so Nishant is many times confused with Joshi, and I
So
was
now
like,
it's your
"Oh
turn.
look, everyone, it's a more successful Apagano." And Nishant said, "Yeah, no, get on stream and have your friend who's one of the casters completely, who knows you, completely like mix up which Joshi, or in my case, which Pagano you are.
That's
Have fun."
hilarious.
This is what we kind of expected.
This is a not a 2-2-2 necessarily. This is more, we are a team that plays Dondozo, Gary, Glamora stuff. Like, we have a Roaring Moon, Fluttermane, Raging Bolt plus Glamora kind of thing going on, which is cool. This is the only AV Raging Bolt in the entire Top Cut. Snarl being a move that we have access to is kind of nice in this format of a bunch of special attackers. One of the crazy things, though, is the Misty Terrain on the Fluttermane. We don't see Misty Terrain too terribly often. For those that don't know what Misty Terrain does, it has the damage of all dragon moves to grounded targets. So, hey, your Draco Meteor is going to do less damage. Your Dragon Pulses are going to do less damage. It can create some situations where things like the Raging Bolt that's set up pretty well has to play the Thunderclap game because the Dragon Pulse isn't going to do enough damage to pick up the KO. And so it creates a little weird puzzle for things like Raging Bolt, for things like Gouging Fire, for things like opposing Dondozo with Order Up can cause some problems.
One of the other things that the terrain does, it's a more common effect, is that any Pokemon on Misty Terrain are not affected by status conditions. As you can see on this team, this team does not like to see Amoonguss. You have 3 Terra Grasses. You don't have any safety. Well, you have 3 Terra Grasses. You have a safety goggles on the Tatsugiri. There is a lot of anti-Amoonguss hate. The Misty Terrain on the Fluttermane also makes it so that if you want to go with the Terra Fairy on the Raging Bolt or your offensive Terra Flying on the Roaring Moon, you're able to get away with that and still protect your other Pokemon from the spores coming in, because they are not being forced to Terra to get around the Amoonguss. With that being said, if you do Terra Flying your Roaring Moon, it does leave the terrain and they can spore that slot.
Yeah.
It's just the rest of the team that they can't spore.
I will say there is some non-bows with this 6. The toxic debris
as well.
You're not a fast Fluttermane. You are a bulky Fluttermane. To note, so you lose the bulky Fluttermane wars because you are Citrus Berry and not Booster. And the bulky Fluttermanes run Thunder Wave, and so you're very likely something's going to get Thunder Waved before you get your Misty Terrain off. So there are some situations where this probably isn't ideal, but it's fine. Like, I think you end up using it more as on this team as anti-dragon damage rather than anti-status, just because we are doing things like Toxic Debris, Mortal Spin, Glamora. Like, you want to be able to status your opponent. You don't want to set this up and then be stuck trying to whittle down your opponent without being able to afflict your poisons and whatnot.
Yeah. Overall, really cool team. Honestly, just the way that it's set up with it not being like 2-2-2-ish, it kind of reminds me of like the Reg B, Reg C Dozo teams.
It's almost like 3-3. Like, you can bring your Geary, Dozo, Glamora plus one of these other ones. Fluttermane or Raging Bolt probably fit well into here. Roaring Moon also kind of fits well into this setup. Whereas Roaring Moon, Fluttermane, Raging Bolt, Glamora doesn't feel as strong, but can still do damage if we need to. And there's also situations where you just bring Dozo by itself. Solo Dozo with like Rocky Helmet and Oblivious still puts out pressure. Like, it still is a threat. You still have to handle this thing because eventually, like, the wave crash damage adds up and you hit it every time you've taken Rocky Helmet damage, chip, etc. It still becomes a problem.
Yeah, overall, awesome team. Congratulations to my fellow Pagano. Hey, maybe we're related. Who can say?
Who knows?
If we ever if I ever go to an event again, but if we
You
ever
will
go
eventually.
to an event, yeah. But if we ever go to an event, Andrea, we gotta talk. We gotta be comparing those family lineages.
Or you can just leave a comment on the video, or someone who knows Andrea can leave a comment on the video, and they can get in touch that way.
Yeah, so
there you go.
We can you
networking.
Can meet your you can meet your American brother. Okay, so Ko Sudike.
This is the Ursaluna.
This is
P2
the team we expected.
This is the team we expected. Tornadus, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Urshifu, Flying P2, Ursaluna. Yeah, like this is the team we expected to see a lot more of. Which there's technically 2, air quotes around 2. One's not quite the P2. One leans very hard into the I'm fast. I'm fast mode compared to the other. But I like the Sharp Beak / Skyplate Tornado stuff. We saw that in the seniors finals. We saw Tornadus with Sharp Beak just spamming Bleakwind Storms, just trying to beat each other up, and that was great
on both sides. It was
on both sides. It was a full mirror match. But it's cool seeing these more offensive Tornadoes start to see play, because there's things like Amoonguss, there's things like the Rillaboom. That Sharp Beak Bleakwind ends up mattering a little more because they are set up to take damage rolls from the non-Sharp Beak non-Sharp Beak Bleakwind. Say that like 10 times fast.
Not even gonna try it.
And so and it's just like it picks up KOs on Urshifus, on other fighting types that are in the format. Pretty much anything weak to flying is scared of this thing, and it's kind of great. It also is a good flying partner to sit next to your Earthquake or Ursaluna. Just
as we've discussed in the past, the Ursalunas on this team are not running like the min speed Brave you have. They're not like jolly. They're adamant.
You're adamant instead of Brave, and there's like a little bit of speed investment, but not a ton.
Enough where when you do have the Tailwind, you're like all the mid-speed Pokemon are getting outsped by this Ursaluna, and it's whether you're in Trick Room or Tailwind. Once the Guts is active, Pokemon is a absolute wrecking ball.
Yep,
and you're able to just do so much damage. You can commit the Terra to Porygon 2 to have the ability to click Earthquake next to 2 of the remaining 5 partners in your team, which is really cool. And honestly, you can click it next to the Amoonguss. It's not going to lose that much HP.
It'll lose some. You probably don't want to do that, but
you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it twice.
I mean, you can get away with it. You also have Protect, so you just click Protect and it's fine.
Yeah. One of the other cool things in this team, again, just adding in damage, is the Life Orb on the Urshifu Rapid Strike. The main idea with this is, yes, you're doing a bit of damage to yourself, but you're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
And it just gives you the ability to run it, to be able to boost your close combat while not committing Stellar Terra. So you can have your water type boost, you can have your boost to close combat, but still have a defensive Terra in your back pocket as well, and not be a Terra hog to get that boost as well.
Yeah.
So overall, really cool tech. Just to throw it out there, the 17th place Yuto Kimura also went and ran this exact 6. So you did have a pair of Japanese players looking at going through and attempting to avoid close team sheet hell, also known as the global challenge, to go and do this.
Very, very close. I'm actually interested. I'm going to go look because now I want to see
how many Japanese players played this team.
Not that. I know Shohei played Ursaluna earlier in February, and so now I'm trying to see if I can find it. Okay, there, Shohei played it at the very end of January, start of February. And let me see. Is it the same? Almost. Shohei did not have the Life Orb. Shohei Shohei went back to the Mystic Water.
Yeah, it feels like the Life Orb's a newer tech.
We've seen it a little bit before that, but it's kind of a situation of, do you value the HP versus valuing that extra little damage on close combat? Because the damage on Surging Strikes is pretty much the same. The damage on Aqua Jet is pretty much the same. When the numbers are small like that, the 1.3 versus 1.2 isn't a huge boost. It's specifically the close combat where the 1.3 is much more important. Next up, City.
Yes. This 6 is again a common balance team that we've seen pop off a lot. I believe it was the 6-1 Birmingham,
Something like
if I'm
that.
remembering correctly, or something relatively close, or at least just in general, like we've seen. Maybe sometimes it was like the Fluttermane over the Landorus. Also, again, in terms of going way back, this is 5 of the 6 of the Iwafuchi team, and you have an Urshifu Rapid Strike instead of the Porygon 2. And also, it's a Tailwind Roaring Moon as a Speed Control Mon, since you don't have the P2 Speed Control, instead of the setup Dragon Dance version. So, like, we know in general that, like, the Incin, Amoonguss, Dango, plus, like, Lando, Roaring Moon works well.
Oh,
This
I know
spot,
why I
again,
recognize
has moved around.
the Life Orb Urshifu. It's this team that won Santiago. That's why.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it, yeah.
I was like, I thought I recognized that, like, Life Orb before that, but yeah.
But yeah, this is just like another really strong balance team. The Roaring Moon has really taken off as one of the premier non-prankster Tailwind Pokemon with the booster speed, along with Breaking Swipe as another form of damage reduction, and the knockoff as just really strong stab. Goldango is just honestly one of the most signature Pokemon of the it's one of the most signature Pokemon of the generation. It's never not good. It might not be as good in certain formats, but it's always going to be good. Incineroar's Incineroar.
I can't wait for the format with Goldango without Fluttermane. Like, that's low-key what I'm hoping for. That's my next goal.
We could get it.
It's going to be champions. It's going to be champions.
Incin and Amoonguss are very strong together, along with the Urshifu here. And again, this is 3-attack Landorus with Life Orb. You have like a lot of your click buttony Pokemon, but everything really synergizes with each other very well, type-wise. And yeah, overall, just a really strong team that is just something. It's not like the premier balance team, but it is definitely one of the top
there's no
balance teams
Raging
in the
Bolt.
format.
There's no Raging Bolt on it. Of course, it's not a premier balance team.
Yes, but you still have a little bit. I mean, like you lose a bit of yellow, but you get the gold and the Goldango.
It's you just don't get Thunderclaps like you're supposed to, and that's the fun part. This was the Ursaluna team I was alluding to earlier. This is the fast bear. I can almost guarantee that this bear is a lot faster than all the other Ursalunas you've probably seen.
Yeah, this one actually probably could be Jolly, depending on what speed stat that Luca wanted to hit. Probably isn't, but there's going to be a lot more speed on this Ursaluna than honestly could be all the others combined.
Yeah. So we are 3-attack Fluttermane. We have our Sky Plate, Bleak Wind, Storm, Tailwind, Icy Wind, Tornadus. The fact that we have double Icy Wind and access to Tailwind tells me that we are very, very reliant on getting speed control set up for our Ursaluna, which is another reason why I think this Ursaluna is probably faster than you're thinking. I also think this Amoonguss is probably a little bit faster than you would suspect it to be. Just having access to all this speed control here means that even a little bit of speed investment in Amoonguss means that you could outspeed certain things at -2, or you could outspeed certain things under Tailwind. Being able to get that Spore off ahead of an Incineroar parting shot or something like that, and stop that Incineroar from being able to pivot and things like that. Standard Urshifu, standard Incineroar for the most part. The Terra Steel has become like I feel like the default Terra type for Urshifu. It's just a real good defensive typing for it. Resist the fairy. you don't really care about like you resist the dragon type attacks because like they're going to expect the raging bolts are going to expect you to probably Terra, so they're going to click Thunderclap anyway. But if you just click Detect, then they're forcing them into clicking Dragon Pulse to deal damage, and so like you resist the Dragon Pulse that way. A lot of good things to go be as Terra Steel Urshifu outside of Urshifu Mirrors. That's when it starts to feel bad, which is why you still see some water.
Yeah, to just add on to this, Urshifu Rapstrike was the #1 Pokemon used at the event, coming in at just a hair under 50% of teams using this Pokemon. Incin was also almost as high, 47%, and Flutterman was the third Pokemon around a little under 45%. Those three Mons were clear-cut the most used, and in that most used Pokemon, the Rapid Strike, 40% of them were Terra Steel as the #1 Terra type, followed by Terra Water at 34%, Fire at 11.3%, and then you have Grass, Ghost, and Stellar all in the 4 to 5% range.
Shout out to the one Terra Fairy.
Yes. One Terra Fairy and what, like 3 Terra Poison, it looks like?
Yeah, 3 Poison, 1 Fairy. Shout out to the one Fairy.
Yeah. But yeah, Steel, as Carl said, there's a lot of really great reasons to run the Steel type on this Pokemon defensively, especially with like the Calm Mind Raging Bolts starting to come back a little more compared to where they were at. That move was at a few weeks ago. So again, just really good call on a really cool team that, to an extent, is like one of those teams where if you're looking at the team list, you see the Ursaluna, you're assuming it's slow, you're assuming there's a Trick Room somewhere. It is that like that bit of a reading comprehension check.
Yeah, you gotta read. You gotta know, like you see the Fluttermane and you expect Trick Room on that Fluttermane, right? Because when you see the Ursaluna, it's like, okay, there's gotta be Trick Room on the Fluttermane. We'll just skim over this real fast. It's not there. It is a fast Ursaluna probably, so it probably caught a couple people off guard, I'd imagine.
Honestly, would absolutely have gotten me. My reading comprehension, my reading has not been good recently. I gotta fix that up. Moving past that though, we have our 16th place team, our last top cut team, Shohei Kimura, who ran balance.
I believe this is the team they won the VR tournament with.
I believe so, yes.
It's pretty dang close if it's not.
Again, this is just one of these teams that gives the pilot pretty much you have a tool for every single situation you could possibly think of, and as long as you're in the right position and in the right place and you put yourself in the right places, you should be able to solve every single game. Which is why, like, you see a player like Shohei, who is one of the most skilled players in the game, getting an insanely high finish with this team, because it gives a player like him every tool he can possibly dream of to express the amount of skill that he has playing this.
Okay, are you ready? There is one difference between the team that won the VR and this team. Can you guess what it is?
It was 3 attack Lando and not sub.
Incorrect.
Was that close?
It is no. It was not Lando.
Okay.
Chien-Pao has the difference.
Ice Spinner over. I was going to say it's either Ice Spinner over Ice School Crash or it's the Terra.
It's the Terra.
Yeah.
In VR's event, it was Terra Ice for big Ice School Crash damage. In this event, it is Terra Grass, which had become the more recognized Terra type for Chien-Pao going into EUIC. We had been starting to see a lot more Terra Grass Chien-Pao going into this event in particular, just because it's a stronger defensive Terra type. It resists the Thunderclap. You're not like worried about any of the fighting type super effective hits going into you. You're immune to Rage Powder and Spore, which are big ways to mitigate your damage, things like that.
Yeah. So do you want to go through a few, like, there's like a handful of players I like to quickly talk about before we close up. Are there any teams you have on your mind that you want to start with?
We talked about the coolest team in Frederick Nielsen's, in my opinion, so I'm good.
Okay. Let's go start with 22nd place, our highest placing rain team, or dedicated rain team with
Dedicated
Pelipper on it.
rain. Team. I like how I went from dedicated rain to team with Pelipper because that's what this is, a team with Pelipper. This is not a rain team in the slightest.
Yes. So Masayoshi Kuro's team, we're going with again a kind of trio I really like. That like I don't know why I like it, just usually do. Mentioned it last week. Usually it's like the Champao Amoonguss Iron Hands. Going with the Baxcalibur instead, keeping that dragon typing that just feels good in the rain, along with the ice type as well to punish opposing grass types. This is using the loaded dice scale shot icicle spear set. Landorus being, of course, Landorus, you're able to actually take advantage of Sandsear Storm to your maximum potential on this team. One of the interesting things is that you aren't using the Urshifu on your team, the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Your rain damage abuser is actually the Wellspring Ogerpon. This is probably like an Ogerpon, maybe like running like even like Adamant to the first bump to just take advantage of the rain boost Ivy Cudgels. You also have like again Amoonguss Iron Hands is just great support. You're going with Iron Hands as your AV Fake Out Mon over the Incineroar. While you're losing the Intimidate on your team, you're just like you can crit with the Wellspring, and like sure you're intimidating the Baxcalibur, but it's getting a lot of attacks off anyways with the loaded dice. Like it's just the more hits you have, the higher chance of crits you have. And yeah, I think this is a really neat team. Aesthetically, I like it. Honestly, like I have 2 events next week. I might pick this up and try to like pilot it. I just think this is like a really cool way to play a fun little weather team, and like it also has Baxcalibur, and Baxcalibur's cool Pokemon.
I feel like this team hates seeing both Raging Bolt and Landorus. I feel like we do not want to see those two together.
Yeah, no, those two together, which of course, like, if you are able to
I was looking through their games played, they did lose to the one Landorus plus Raging Bolt team they played against. They did lose to that one. Like now, that was just an auto loss, I feel like.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, I think this is a really cool team. It was like just when I was scrolling through, it was one of the ones that like made popped out to me. Another team, and this is going to be more so just like calling out players. We said Wolfe Glick was at this event. Let's at least talk about his team.
All right, fine. You twisted my arm.
And of course, like Wolf got knocked out pretty early, losing round 10 to reigning world champion Giovanni Sishke. He did win out the rest of the day to finish in 39th place for his first event since Milwaukee, which is a pretty good finish. Again, Wolf using, honestly at this point, his signature Pokemon of Generation 9, being the Throat Spray Farigiraf, playing it with the Torkoal to support, which also goes and supports the Specs Fluttermane with Mystic Fire, and then the Incin Ogerpon Wellspring for a combined 2 Mon Fire Water Grass, and the Clear Amulet Terra Fire Champao. Again, I think this is a cool team. It's not the most like it feels like
piloting this is going to be impossible because you're not Wolfe Glick.
Yeah, this is definitely something where this is like Wolf built this because he thought this could be a good team and a good meta call. It just has a lot of different pieces from a lot of different teams and can do a lot of different things. But yeah, it can get pretty clunky if it's not like fully like Wolf. If you're not Wolf.
Yeah.
2 more players to call. Oh,
I'm gonna jump in here because I did find something right after Wolf that I want to shout out. This is the same team from Seniors Finals. Shout out to Apollo Stevens playing the exact same 6 that they were playing in Seniors Finals. Next team.
I have two more, which are actually very close to Apollo. 42nd friend of the pod, Matt.
Oh yeah,
Bruno.
Matt. We gotta talk about Bruno. We gotta talk about him.
Yeah, Matt, who went 6-0 to start the day, and we're not going to talk about rounds like 7 through 9.
Yeah, we're not.
But then 10 through 13 went great.
Yeah.
I actually do think this is Bruno's best finish.
It
ever.
is. I believe that's what they said.
Yeah.
When they finished the event, it's like this is their best event. This is their best finish ever, which very very proud of Bruno. Bruno's good people. We like Bruno a lot. Yeah, this feels very much up Bruno's alley. It is a kind of Trick Room Sun team. Like that's just the type of stuff that he likes to play. He likes to play Trick Room stuff. Playing this clear amulet close combat Incineroar probably catches a lot of other Incineroars off guard. So that's super.
What do you mean
cool.
you can punch me for super effective?
What do you mean you can probably OHKO me? What? That's not how this is supposed to work. Lilligant doing its thing with close combat Solar Blade, Stellar Terra. It's going to punch you at least twice, and it's going to probably be all it does. And then the Terra Grass Weather Ball AV Raging Bolt, super duper neat here. If they do happen to like take away your sun, you have access to like Water Stab, or Ice Stab if you're playing against the Snow team, or Fire Stab with the Torkoal, or in the odd chance you run into a T-Tar.
Yeah.
you can get Rock Stab.
Actually, this will be the funny thing. Where was the highest hitting finishing Tyranitar? 448th place.
Now here's the question: did Matt play against T-Tar? Did Bruno play against T-Tar? No. No. I believe the only weather they played against, they did play against Rain in round 2. They played against another Sun team round 1.
They lost to an Earthworm. That must have been rough for Matt.
Yeah. I will say they beat Ashton Cox.
Yeah, they did beat Ashton
in
the last round.
They did get to beat Ashton last round, it's kind of funny.
But yeah, again, shout out Bruno, really cool team. Going again with this like Sunroom team, the Incineroar tech is really cool. Shows that you can play a really interesting Pokemon, or like a standard Pokemon in an interesting way still.
Yeah.
And the last person I'm going to shout out, let me just go and just make sure that this is the last. Yeah, I don't think Vin wants me to talk about his run. Shout out Vin, another Connecticut local who went and day 2'd. Like the team he just ran like the standard like Tornadus P2 Ursaluna team, so not something to talk too much about, but one to talk about who did run Tornadus and Ursaluna on his team. Dan Hughes in 43rd place, also known as Dan Chunks in both our server and in Bauer Dad's Passer server.
Come on. There we go. Bam.
So this is a very similar to the, honestly, like again, what we would initially see with the Blood Moon Ursaluna towards the tail end of Regef Part 1, running it with the Furgraf and the Tornadus as a Tail Room team. Going Tail Room again, so using Furgraf instead of P2, because you're running a more offensive team, the Armor Tail support you get, along with the more active Throat Spray variant as well, just makes the Furgraf work a lot better with this team. Your double specs on the Flutter and the Urshifu Single Strike, going with the offensive Terra Fairy on the Flutter main, and the defensive Terra Steel on the Darkfu. And then you have your Follow Me, Ogerpon Heart Flame. That again, not only is a supportive Pokemon with the Follow Me, but can also be an offensive menace. With the Tailwind, Sunny Day, and Terra support you can get. Like, you can go Terra in Sunny Day, and you're +1, you have the Sun Up, and these Ivy Cudgels are demolishing things.
Yeah.
The idea overall with this team is just that almost everything on the team, outside of the Tornadus to an extent, can turn into an offensive like problem for your opponent. Whether on the immediate sense with your choice specs Pokemon, on the I need my item to set up sense with the Farigiraf and the Ursaluna, or the ability to use Terra and Weather with the Ogerpon to just have an immediate way to just start deleting your opponent's Pokemon. This was also Dan's best finish ever. His first day 2, he was in a bit of a rut. He had I think 2 or 3 events in a row last year.
There was a lot of just missing out on day
I make it to round 8 5-2 and I lose 5-3, and he was roller coasting a little, and it was a case of just seeing him get over the hump. He did sadly get knocked out in round 10, but again after round 10 he went and he just won out after the fact to just finish at X and 3. It's again his best performance, coming only 1 win away from being in play for top cut, is really great, and I'm so proud of Dan for getting over that day 2 hump and going really far in his first showing in day 2.
Yeah. Looking at the 6, I wanted to bring this up. We've seen something similar to this already, this format. Usually the Farigiraf is a different Terra type. Usually the Farigiraf is copying a P2. It's also maybe a flying type sometimes to play next to your Ursaluna. But we've seen the Sunny Day, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Specs, Fluttermane, Farigiraf, Ursaluna stuff before this. So it's just something I'm just noticing. It's we've seen this before. I'm trying to remember where I saw it, and I think it was something in Birmingham.
Yeah. And again, it's even just the idea of it, we can trace the roots of it back to Reg F Part 1. Again, just another one of these really strong hyper-offensive Tailwind teams that, again, a good pilot who's having a good day is able to go pretty far with. And yeah, those are my teams that I wanted to go to in the shout-outs I wanted to make.
I do have one other shout out now. Now that I'm kind of going through and stuff, this was the undefeated player in day 1. Because what was cool is it was a Primarina.
Okay.
Matthias Long. This was the undefeated team in day 1. I think there was 2 8-0s in day 1, and this was one of them. They proceeded to lose the next 5 games.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the weird things with Prim.
Or they lost the next 4.
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of things, this is a really cool looking team. If the Prim was in, let's just call it what it is. If the Prim was a Raging Bolt that was doing the Combine stuff, probably be a little better.
It'd probably be 100% better. Yeah, I will say it does look like they have a very hard time against a lot of the PAL Knight teams, because they only managed to beat 1 of the 4 PAL Knights that they played.
Yeah, and even just looking at it, there isn't really any speed control. Primarina is not a fast Pokemon. No. And I think that's the other aspect of it, where it's a slow Pokemon that you have the Icy Wind support from the Flutter, and that's really it. Maybe the Misty Terrain could have been a Thunder Wave instead to just add a little more speed control to the team.
Maybe.
I think it's a really cool way to show. I mean, using the 3 starters that matter. For each type, this is a really cool way to show it. And yeah, Primarina does have a really good special attack stat. It has good bulk. It is a good Pokemon. It's just very difficult to pick it as your setup Pokemon of choice, if your Combine Pokemon of choice, when there's better special attacking Combine, there's better Combiners out there, and it's tough to pick it as your water type of choice when you have Urshifu Rapid Strike and Ogerpon Wellspring in the format.
Yeah.
So it's it feels like that spot you're doing a clear downgrade. It's you're getting a really strong fairy, but Fluttermane just
you have a really strong fairy in
Fluttermane.
Like, there's a reason why we don't see Primarina when Fluttermane's in the format. Fluttermane just does its job better. And
Yep.
Primarina there's better water types that do the water type job better than Primarina. And so it's just like, it was cool that this was one of the undefeated teams going into Swiss Phase 2. And it just kind of the wheels fell off the bus.
Yeah.
All right. And that is everything.
Pretty
out
much.
of...
Other thing, Grand Challenge this weekend. Yeah. Red
Cool.
Death, another February Grand Challenge.
Good luck. Have fun.
If you want to play what will yeah, I mean, it could be the last Grand Challenge in
Good.
Scarlet and Violet.
Good.
Carl's here with the hatch, just like, okay.
Get rid of these things. I hate them. I think it is probably one of the worst formatted things in VGC.
Yeah,
especially playing blind best of one is not fun. And now you've tied championship points to it. Go bugger off. I'm good.
It was fun when it was actually applicable because you played blind best of when
we played blind best of 3. That's fine. It's cool. Yeah. Whatever. Like, I'm playing blind best of 3s. I'll play blind best of 1s. I've got open team sheet best of 3 now. I get so much more enjoyment out of having the open team sheets and being able to make informed decisions during the game instead of, I got by insert random ass Terra here.
I just thought of something random. Remember the 4, this was like back in like Sword and Shield, the 4 attack, like I think it was max special attack, max attack invest, Porygon 2.
Yeah.
That just ran like 4. It was just like you lead it and it looks like it's going to set Trick Room, and then it just Dynamaxes and just clicks Max Strike over and over and over.
Yeah.
It picks which download boost you get. Yeah, so that's the stuff where I'm like, I was like, yeah, I miss Gen 8 sometimes. I think of that and I'm like, do I really?
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Like, I GCs are fun for the casual players. Don't tie championship points to them. Stop doing that. That's not what we need to be doing. If you want to put points places, put points in locals. Fix your fucking local scenes.
or go a step further and also give us Players' Cups. I'd like to compete in something for my house that is fully a GC.
It was great for the COVID era.
It was great for when we needed it.
But you don't understand how many issues there were trying to get these things going, right?
I mean, like, they had a winner get banned. I understand.
Like, there were so many issues, not even just with like competitive integrity, like connection issues were always a thing. Like, it's a logistic nightmare doing those things because you have to effectively wrangle cats.
Yep.
Like, multiple times. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
You weren't even able to wrangle one this week.
Nope.
Did she come back inside?
Yeah, Kayla's able to pick her up. No problem.
Okay.
She just will not come. For those that don't know, I have 4 cats at home. We will tell this story. Luna is my baby. I've raised Luna as a bottle-fed kitten. She is now 13 years old. She doesn't know where she's at half the time. She will yowl through the house looking for us, not sure where she's at. And one of her fun things she likes to do is she likes to bolt out the back door with the dogs because she thinks, the dogs are going there. I will follow them. Not realizing that it's outside. And then she's like, oh crap, I'm outside. I can't be out here. Why am I out here? Meow, meow, meow. Oh, Dad's coming to get me. I'm not going to come to Dad. I'm going to run around to the front of the house where they can let me in. Oh, Dad's at the front of the house. I'm going to run around back to the back of the house so Dad will let me in. And we play that game for about 20, 30 minutes until I get sick of walking back and forth through the house. And then I decided that she's just going to hang out outside if it's nice. If she doesn't, it's nice outside, I'll put out water and food and I'll just leave her outside. And then she runs right up to Kayla's car and jumps in Kayla's arms every time.
Yeah, no, we got the text. It's like, Luna's an outdoor cat today. I'm not doing this anymore.
I ain't fighting with it. I just if she wants to run outside, she can run outside. The backyard is fenced in enough to where nothing's going to get her if she needs to get away. I put a water dish and food out there for her. That way she has something out there to get into. There's shade back there in the backyard. She can hide in multiple places back there. I can't fight. If she's going to outrun me, I cannot catch her. She weighs like 7 pounds. She's tiny. I cannot catch her that fast. And so that has become just the new trend is every time I let the dogs go outside to go potty or do whatever, run around, I have to watch for Luna behind my head because she likes to sit at the kitchen table right by the back door. And if I'm not paying attention, she will jump over my shoulder and just run outside. And I will not get her back in the house until Kayla gets home.
Yeah. So now with all that, now we got that. We covered the GC. Also, we didn't talk about the closing ceremony because there was nothing for VGC.
I don't think there was anything.
Wait 12 days.
We got Pokemon. I think that's why, because we have Pokemon Day in literally a little over a week. So they're just saving everything for that, which makes sense.
Yep. Just going through our schedule. Next week will probably be our Pokemon Day prediction episode. And then the following week we will have both Pokemon Day coverage and Seattle coverage. Depending on how much stuff is on Pokemon Day, we might end up splitting a couple weeks to just space it out.
Just to cover everything, because we are expecting a lot. It's a big deal. It's the 30th year.
It is.
It's 30th anniversary.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. There's some rumored stuff that may or may not be true. We have no clue on any of it. There are genuine leaks running around that I am currently trying to completely avoid because I don't want to see any of it. And it's just been a fun minefield of what can I look on the internet for and still get champions data, but then not spoil anything else that I don't want to see. Yeah,
that's been the best part of just being completely off Twitter is that
it's not even Twitter anymore. That's the problem.
I haven't seen anything.
It's in my Google feed. I'm getting Reddit posts about stuff like that. I am trying very hard to avoid it.
Just no internet until the 27th.
I guess that's what we're gonna be. I've been playing Diablo 4 because of that. I've not touched Pokemon in 2 weeks because I've been playing Diablo 4 instead.
Yeah. I also just a general just courtesy for everyone. We are a leak-free server. Don't be talking about the leaks openly. If there is
we'll make a channel for it.
Yeah, we'll make a channel, but don't be posting in general. Hey, look at this. Because no one wants you. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to ruin it for other people. Honestly, I like to be surprised on things. That was the big issue with Generation 6 and 7 release cycles were that they the TPCI spoiled the games themselves. Now with Pokemon Champions, they've done the exact opposite, where they aren't even giving us a release date.
Well, I mean, this is the same way they handled ZA, right? Ever since the Terra leak, they're just nothing leaves this house, and it's just locked tight and no information on anything. If we don't tell them anything, they won't figure anything out. And,
exactly.
That's the usual response to when you have a bunch of data leaked. We'll get things set up for Pokemon Day here in the next couple. Probably set it up this week sometime. That way, it's ready on Pokemon Day.
And then we have that, and then the 6-year anniversary episode's going to be early March.
It's literally that next week.
Oh, it's next week?
No, that next week after Pokemon Day.
Oh, the following week, yeah.
Because it's always the week after Pokemon Day.
Yep. Wow. So yeah, a lot coming in. Hopefully with champions as well, and
please,
we will be kicking off.
Please give me champions. I need something to play on my phone.
Kick off this and we can kick off the 6th year with a bang. So you can follow all of our socials at Blue Sky, at Littleroot Lessons, myself at Rose Tinted Cheeks, Carl at Musical, and Carter at Mr. Missouri 25. They also have Mr. Missouri 25 for the Twitch as well. You can not tweet us. You can comment on our YouTube page, Littleroot Lessons. You can also comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and wherever else your podcasts are found, where you listen to podcasts that aren't the mainstream apps. Join the Discord. Again, we're going to get a spoiler channel ready to go for when Pokemon Day comes up, along with starting to get some other fun events in the background. Once we do get champions, there's going to be a lot of demand for ways to play. Everyone's going to be done, unless you're going to be going to any like official events. We're going to be done with Scarlet and Violet pretty much. So
I hope
we'll be giving you ways to play champions in a put together environment, so to speak. So look forward to all of that, hopefully coming soon.
More content, more game, more whatever, more stuff. Just more stuff. New game means more stuff.
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great week.